Raid Shadow Legends! Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new episode of Business Blaze. This one, a little bit of irony to this one. The 5 weird ways people make money. I've made some money in some weird ways in my time. And the fact that I'm standing here wearing a t-shirt with my face on it that I make money off, and that essentially on this channel I slap scripts and I go bada boom boom tsh, and I get paid. It's quite nice. It's a bit weird. Let's crack on. Thank you, Danny, for putting this together. And Business Blaze viewer, Adam Ramali. Thank you, Adam Ramali. Suggested that we make a video about some of the weirdest ways people can earn money. I couldn't help feeling that the presentation of this one will be steeped in rich irony. As always, Danny and I are on the same page. Simon Wister will be prancing around in front of a camera, mispronouncing half of the words of a script written by a man trapped in a basement who lives on peanut butter and jelly on toast. Wow, this is a string of OG Business Blaze legends in jokes. If you're new here, welcome to Business Blaze. You probably don't like it so far. Please stick with me. It's okay. In a video edited by Sam, who spends his day cutting down the original 5 hours of rambling raw footage, all of this into a 20-minute chunk with nearly all the satirical jokes about Trump replaced by He-Man memes. Sam is a massive Trump supporter. He's not really. And we have the nerve to be talking about weird ways that other people make money. It turns out that some people are even weirder than us. I've probably got my own stories here. I actually know this first one. I can tie it in with that. Let's crack on. NASA's dream job. A common list of responses often spring up when people get involved in discussions about the ultimate dream job. Professional athlete, astronaut, movie star, YouTuber, elevator designer. That's another OG joke. Is that really just me? Yes, Danny, it's just you. Elevators, I understand like the engineering of elevators can be improved and all of this stuff, but engineering designer, it goes up and it goes down, the doors open and they close. How much can there possibly be to it? Someone's gonna be like, Simon, I'll have you know I'm an elevator engineer. I have 17 doctorates. It's like, all right, chill out. Also, these discussions about ultimate dream job, professional athlete, astronaut, movie star, these are just kids talking about this stuff. Although I did like it when they did a survey in the UK about what was the ultimate dream job, and it was YouTuber. I was like, fuck. It is pretty good, kids, I have to say. It is, I mean, probably don't do it, because it's kind of lucky that I get to do this. And it is insanely hard work, but it is pretty great. Some particularly lazy people might suggest that bed tester sounds like a pretty cushy number. Back in 2013, NASA was offering what might literally sound like the biggest dream job of all, lying around in bed all day for 3 months, and they were paying $18,000 to the lucky candidates. I will just point out that I think I've mentioned it on previous videos, I used to make money by testing drugs. So you'd go into a hospital, you'd stay there for like a week to 3 weeks. I think 3 weeks was the longest one. 2 weeks was not the shortest. I've done ones but like a few days. You'd take some random drug, you'd sit around in a bed, you'd watch some TV, and you'd go home, and they'd pay you like $1,000 a week in pounds 10 years ago. More than 10 years ago. It was pretty great. It was a lot of money. I remember I did one for like 3 weeks, and then I went traveling around Asia, like backpacking for 6 months. It was great. It's worth pointing out that a hoax news story at the time ended up getting more coverage than the real deal. Media outlets were reporting that NASA was paying candidates $18,000 to sit around and smoke weed all day in bed. And naturally, this sparked a huge wave of interest from considerate citizens who were suddenly very keen to do their bit to help mankind's ongoing mission to the stars. How can you look at this and be like, oh, that must be real? Yeah, because NASA needs to do really serious research into the stoner lifestyle. The NASA marijuana experiments is a 2016 to 2018 internet hoax purporting to document NASA's $18,000 to volunteers to conduct bed rest experiments where they were furnished with marijuana to smoke. Yeah, no. There's no good reason for this. Sadly, the bit about the weed proved to be completely untrue, and it's difficult to see what NASA could possibly have gained from such an experiment anyway. Maybe it's like, well, it's a 6-month trip to Mars. How are we going to entertain ourselves? Whee! Blaze! An unconfirmed statement from an unconfirmed representative of NASA explained that we ain't got no time for that shit. The whole point of the genuine 3 months in bed study was to research the effects of microgravity on the human body. Participants had to lie in a bed which would be tilted head down at a 6-degree angle, sparking events in the body that would be similar to those experienced during spaceflight. You got paid $1,200 in weekly wages, totaling $18,000 for the total 3-month stretch. Now, if this sounds like the perfect job for that lazy mate, you know you'd be quite wrong. It was actually really hard work and pretty dangerous. Yeah, they're not getting paid that much. I got paid more, I guess. It was about $2,000 a week at the time because the exchange rate was crazy, for way less. I mean, yes, you have to take some experimental drug, but really, it's been tried in people before. It's not that dangerous. And you don't have to lie in bed all day. You can wander around the hospital and, it's not that bad. When they said that they didn't want you to move from bed straight for 70 days, they weren't kidding. You didn't get a toilet or shower break, you got clean by dousing yourself with a hand-tailed shower head in the best way you could manage. Not entirely sure about the toilet thing, but you can use your imagination and assume that it wasn't particularly comfortable or dignified. Even just cleaning your teeth, taking a drink, eating food, or trying to read a book are all incredibly difficult when you're permanently stuck in a tilted head-down position. This is rough! Successful candidates had to pass rigorous physical and mental exercises in order to qualify, and were generally expected to be at the absolute peak of their physical condition. They weren't afterwards. To combat the effects of muscle atrophy, which would inevitably start to kick in when you barely move for 3 months. Otherwise, the tempting $18,000 wage may have been barely enough to cover the subsequent medical bills. Of course, another small downside to consider is that the whole ordeal would have been completely bloody boring to the point where you could really start losing the plot. Imagine watching 70 days worth of Simon Whistler videos. Thanks, Danny. Knob. That have been badly dubbed over with the voice of Yoko Ono. Oh! Or why can't you just watch Simon Whistler videos? We don't have to get Yoko Ono involved at all. It'd be better if we didn't. It'd be better if she was, while all of your body fluids are rushing to your head and you're trying to drink a cup of coffee that ends up leaking into your nostrils. And you probably didn't even get coffee. Because on these medical experiments, they were like, no, caffeine can screw up the readings. It was like you were living like a monk. You had the exact amount of food that they prescribed. There was no caffeine. There was obviously no booze. There was no cocaine. Although I did do one study where I just took sleeping pills for 2 weeks. That was pretty great. And then double the pain of all that. That's how bad it must have been. Obviously, NASA never released the results or repeated the experiments. Let's hope that none of the candidates were hoping that it would develop into a full-time position. Isn't NASA a public, a government body? Don't they have to release their results? I thought that was kind of the deal. It's also why, if you're doing a video about the US government, all of the shit that the government has is public domain. So if there's photos of Apollo rockets, you can just use those. It's great if the government took them. Renza Mourner, do you look good in black? Can you weep on command? No and no. Can you instantly recall fond fake memories of a dead bloke that you never even remotely knew? Yes! If the answer to all of those questions is, what are you even talking about, Danny? Then let me explain to you professional mourning. This is sad. It's a service provided for those difficult funerals where a fairly low turnout is expected. A professional mourner will help to fill up the numbers and generate more of a party atmosphere by crying at all the right moments and interacting with guests under the guise of a fictional friend or a long-lost relative. I also feel that if your funeral is a bit quiet, if you're 40 and your funeral's quiet, that's probably a bit sad. But if you're 90, it's because everyone else you knew is dead. So that's a good thing. I mean, not for you. It's probably sad that everyone you know is dead, but on the plus side, you live to be really old. Old enough to see everyone you love die. Yay! Life! The concept is not entirely new. Fake mourning has been around since ancient Egyptian times when women would make a bit of money on the side at funeral caskets by wailing loudly, smearing themselves with dirt, and generally displaying signs of unrelenting grief and wildly out-of-control behavior at the loss of a total stranger. Right, I get all of that, except for the part about yeah, I'm really sad. When was the last time you were at a funeral and you were like, yeah, I'm just gonna rub myself in dirt. I'm just gonna jump in there with the casket and just really rub it all on. It's gonna be great. They were probably a bit more over the top in those days. Apparently so. The modern professional mourner is usually a bit more reserved. Yeah, you better hope so. Can you imagine hiring a dude and he just arrives, he's looking really somber, he's in his suit, and he's just rubbing himself in mud. Sylvester Ricardo Moss, a professional mourner from Nassau in the Bahamas, recently posted some of his summer special rates on Facebook. He's very happy, or sad, whatever, to perform normal crying on the funeral service at the funeral service you're planning for just $50. That's pretty cheap, isn't this a day's work? But this can be upgraded to hollering and rolling around on the ground for just $150. Yeah, I mean, I guess your dignity is for sale. His VIP high-end option of crying and actually jumping into the grave is yours for $1,000. Wow, I was absolutely joking about jumping into the grave. Why is that more expensive? I feel like if I was this dude, I'd be like, yeah, it's $50 for me to shot, but if you don't want me to run around in the grave and, jump all over the casket, that's going to be $1,000, and that's blackmail. Although professional mourning has been a common ritual in China for years, the concept has recently started to gain traction in the Western world too. The UK company Rent a Mourner was founded in 2013, and for just $45 a day they offer the services of professional discreet mourners to attend funerals, make small talk, and convincingly mourn the passing of beloved friends and family. I have a brilliant/terrible idea. What I will do is I will host a fake funeral, and I will invite professional mourners from many different companies, and we'll all come together and we'll have like a big day of it. That would be a fun video. I feel like that's more a video for Mr. Beast. I'll just stick to what I know, which is standing around and reading Danny's scripts, because I'm not super creative. If you're interested in learning the trade, you'll need to be confident, empathetic. Is this a job ad? Have good timekeeping skills, a good memory, and the ability to improve, improvise, and think quickly on your feet. For me, one of the biggest fears would be getting rumbles. It's perfectly fine to make out that you and the dearly departed were best friends at school, but the game is surely up when old Spotty Perkins shows up to expose you as a charlatan and a fraud. I'd be okay with that. I'd be like, yeah, you're busting me, I'm paid to be here. Your friend wasn't as popular as you think. I'm sorry. Another big problem I have with this whole idea is, if you're expecting a low turnout at a funeral anyway, then who exactly are you trying to impress with a bogus, blubbering person, and is it really worth it? Probably not. Also, the person's dead. They don't care. You know who doesn't care how many people come to my funeral? Well, now I'd be like, I was a bit sad, but I'd be dead, so I'm not gonna know, am I? And if I'm up in heaven, I'll look down on it, and it'll just be filled with thousands of people because it's heaven. Which is definitely where I'm going when I die, if it was real. Rent a Mourner is actually closed down in 2019. Well, there goes my brilliant video idea, doesn't it? Claiming that the business couldn't cope with demand. Although I'm not exactly convinced by that. Yeah, it's like, why did your business fail? It was too popular. Why don't you have a girlfriend? I'm too good looking. It's rumored that the farewell office party was a little embarrassing because barely anybody bothered to show up. Ba-da-bum-bum. I just slapped one of my lights pretty hard. Oh no, one of the bulbs broke. Or like, not broke, but turned off. Sometimes you just gotta jiggle it back in. There we go. Mukbang, oh god, I know this one. This is horrible. I heard the other day, ASMR mukbang, so it's just like, it's fucking disgusting. Imagine that. People tune in for that, and I assume jerk off to it. Oh, although we've already mentioned the sheer absurdity of making money from videos posted on YouTube, that's nothing compared to how some rising celebrities are gaining wealth from the type of videos largely posted on the South Korean video sharing platform Africa TV. That's a terrible name. Maybe it's good in South Korean. The Good Korea. We're of course talking about the growing trend for mukbang. The term mukbang is a mashup of the Korean words for eating and broadcast, so a direct translation to English would give us the word eatcast, if such a term existed, which it doesn't. But, as you might have already figured out, mukbang is essentially just a bunch of South Koreans getting rich by filming themselves eating, often for hours at a time. I'd make more fun of this if my job wasn't reading scripts in front of a camera, kind of badly. At least you might learn something vaguely interesting or useful from a Business Plays video. Oh, damn right. You might learn the truth about secret Nazi counterfeiting operations, or how many famous films Simon has never watched or heard of. Star Wars, The Princess Bride, The Godfather. But with mukbang, you're literally just watching people eat food while they provide a running commentary and occasionally interact with the devoted online audience who are watching the drama unfold. Tune in next week for a Business Plays mukbang. Oh, that'd be good. I like food. There are a couple of compelling hooks. First of all, they don't slap scripts. No, firstly, they don't eat sensible portions of food. No, they eat absolutely mountains of the stuff every day for your viewing pleasure. The plates of food are even considered quite big by American standards. It is true, everything is bigger than like you go to a restaurant in America, it's like, this is very large. It's like, yeah, I'll have a small fries. It's like, boom! All right, I'll have a large fries. Help! I'm buried in fries! Secondly, the most popular channels are all about the noise of eating. No, it's not. I thought that was just a weird thing. Is that most of the case? I'm not mad on noisy eaters or people who talk with their mouths crammed full of food, so I'd personally find mukbang quite hard to stomach. Yeah, dude, when someone's sitting there, it's like, we're not 8. Close your bloody mouth when you're chewing. It's not hard. Breathe through your nose. These guys are proudly exaggerating their chewing and mysticulating and swallowing noises through epic-length broadcasts. The audience loves it. If this sounds like a bit of a weird fetish, I'd certainly agree with you on the weird part. But much of the popularity of mukbang is attributed to the history of food shortages in South Korea and the country's subsequent culture of healthy eating and keeping a slim figure. Wait, so they're obsessed with healthy eating and a slim figure, and what they love to do is just watch people get fat. Human's gonna human. The viewers are fascinated by the footage of something that would have been impossible years ago and something they could probably never dream of indulging themselves in. Of course you can dream of indulging yourself like this. Just go to a buffet, stuff your face, problem solved, and then you get, the joy of tasting food. And many of the top mukbang hosts are pulling in a sizable salary from this. Unlike YouTube, where money is generated from ad revenue and sponsorships. Raid Shadow Legends! It's not, no. Just no. I got another email from Raid Shadow Legends this morning. Hey, Simon! Off, Ben. The videos on Afrika TV are largely funded by audience donations and gifts, and they're flying in thick and fast. What? I spend time putting together... Sorry, Danny and Sam spend time putting together these Business Blaze videos. Donations are not a thing for this, but if I just sat at my desk and stuffed my face with food and talked about some then people would give me, actual money? The top-ranking hosts are earning about $10,000 per month for devouring giant platefuls of food in front of a camera. The growing trend has caused some concern for the South Korean government, who felt there may be certain health issues to the concept of people binge-eating themselves to death in front of tens of thousands of viewers. I think the South Korean government might be onto something, Danny. Planned new regulations have been met with fierce opposition and petitions from the mukbang community. Big mukbang, who believe that the government is infringing on their individual freedom. Despite all of this, variations of the social eating trend are slowly creeping into other global video platforms like YouTube and Twitch. I've already stocked up on pickled eggs, Cornish pasties, buttery Viennese whirls, and bigger plates. Watch this space. In like a year, I'll be like, check out Danny's new channel, Danny Mukbang. The Cornish man eats Cornish pasties. Sell your own poop. You can use poop to repopulate a gut with bacteria. I wonder if that's what we're talking about here, or maybe it's another fetish thing. Equally likely at this point. In this section, I was going to talk about forging a career in selling your own shit, but I might have come up with different terminology, as I don't want Sam complaining that his finger is aching from frantic, repeated presses of the bleep button. And I do notice, and I totally don't care, that Sam misses, it'll be like, boo, 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 fuck! As we've just discovered, you can make oodles of cash by eating yourself silly. So it's only fitting that we explore money-making opportunities at the other end of the digestive cycle, the butt. And if you're lucky enough to live in Massachusetts, you can really earn money on the side by just selling your own butt dumplings. That's an unpleasant term. I should quickly stress that again, this isn't weird. I thought we decided mukbang was weird. Simon, don't make fun of people who love mukbang. Well, it would probably be a bit weird if you suddenly started talking at length about your career with guests at the dinner table. But I mean, the reasons behind this opportunity are perfectly legitimate. It's a deal currently offered by the non-profit stool bank, Open Biome, who are accepting donations of your fudge babies. So that they can be used in a potentially life-saving new treatment for sufferers of, Jesus Christ, Clostridium difficile infection? Whatever. The fecal microbiota transplant process involves transplanting your healthy stool into the colon of a patient who is missing a crucial gut bacterium. Over 250,000 people a year develop this disease. I'm not going to try and pronounce it again. And 14,000 of them lose their lives to this infection? Oh my God, we're really saving people's lives with You could potentially be saving the life of a stranger and earning a steady stream of income by donating your rectum warriors to a noble cause. The bad news is that Open Biome doesn't just accept any old. Candidates have to pass a rigorous health check. It's believed that less than 4% of them are found to cut the brown mustard, but successful candidates can earn up to nearly $9,000 a year by flogging their chocolate sausages. Oh God, Danny, this is going too far, man. Oh, Open Biome pays $40 per sample. You get a tempting $50 bonus if you donate your anal snakes 3 times a week. You must have looked these up. If you know all of these off the top of your head, Danny, I'm slightly worried about you. Anal snakes? It does require a bit of effort for you to actually turn up in person at the clinic and hand over your samples rather than just popping your poop in the post. That's a good tongue twister that I'll teach to my child. But I think the loyalty rewards card looks magnificent. Ba-dum-bum-bum. I initially thought the mock juror might be along similar lines to a professional mourner. It sounds like you're expected to fill out the numbers in a jury in a court case. Except in a jury in a court case, it's not like they get volunteers. It's like you have to go. But you're not really listening or preparing a verdict, you're just there to look interested and maybe laugh from time to time at the accused. Alas, it's something completely different. A growing number of websites are now giving the opportunity to get paid to participate in an online simulated trial, which is designed to give lawyers insight into how a genuine jury might respond to arguments and theories put forward in a case. That's pretty clever. It's possibly a little less exciting than it sounds, so. They don't go to the effort of setting up a live mock trial, and you don't get your face beamed into the virtual court presided over by Judge Judy and Bert. Who's Bert? I know Judge Judy. I'm not stupid. Isn't Bert like from Sesame Street? Is he a judge in Sesame Street? Does Sesame Street have judges? It's been a long time, but I have seen Sesame Street. They got a big weird bird. You're simply given a few pages of material to peruse at your leisure and then asked to submit your responses to a few related questions. But it could potentially develop into a surprising money spinner. Although the majority of virtual court websites offer only an initial fee of $5 or $10 per case, some of the more experienced professional mock jurors are now claiming to be pulling in over $400 per case. Wow, that's serious. And the best thing about this is it's something you could potentially do while just sitting around in your pants all day and drinking cider. The dream! I could do this while drinking, but I think I'd be like... I think some people already think that I'm drinking when I'm doing this, but I think it does, it makes me probably a little bit more loose, but I'm already pretty loose, and it would just dumb me down a little bit, I think. See, maybe one day I'll do one of these really drunk live. Not a million miles away from writing or editing a script for the Business Blaze channel, and this has been the Business Blaze channel. Pick up this merch through the link in the description below, or it might just be a link to a Rick Astley video. That's the game that we have to play. If you liked this video, smash that thumbs up button. If you didn't like it, smash that dislike button. Both are options. Subscribe. Tell your friends. Thank you for watching. Yay! Life!